Hello everyone. Well, I am back with another new video lesson. It's an essay. The name of the essay is Savitribai Phule, the first woman teacher of India, new English textbook for third year students. Let's learn introduction and theme of the essay. Well, Savitribai Phule was a pioneer in laying the foundation of women's education and empowerment in 19th century India. Her contribution towards social reform and education made her the innovator in empowering both women and the rejected sections from the society. She fought against child marriage and sati pratha, a belief that the wife should be thrown into the funeral pyre of her husband, and advocated for remarriage. Let's continue the introduction and theme. Savitribai put sincere efforts towards the education and the liberation of child widows. With her husband Jyotirao Phule, Savitribai worked towards eliminating all forms of social injustice. She led a movement against the practice of untouchability. Savitribai fought passionately for the end of caste system and gender discrimination. Now, let's move to understand her early life. Well, she was born on 3rd January 1831 in a family of farmers in Nayagaon village in Satara district, Maharashtra. Savitribai Phule was the eldest daughter of Lakshmi and Khandoji Neveshe Patil. At the age of 9, she was married to 13-year-old Jyotirao Phule due to the customs and beliefs. Savitribai Phule was uneducated when she was married off. Now, let's move to understand the education of Savitribai Phule. Well, it was her husband Jyotirao Phule who decided to educate her at home. Savitribai completed her primary education at home under Jyotirao. Later, with the help of their friends, she completed her formal education. Now, let's move to understand how does her career begin. After completing her formal education, she then decided to enroll for 2 teachers training programs. The first training was undertaken by Savitribai under Cynthia Farrar, an American missionary in Ahmednagar. The second training took place at a school in Pune. Consequently, Savitribai became the first Indian woman teacher and headmistress. Now, let's move to understand her educational efforts. Well, she started teaching girls in Meherwada in Pune with Savitribai, a revolutionary feminist and Jyotirau's mentor. Soon, Savitribai, Jyotirao and Savitribai started their school at Bidewada. The curriculum of the school was based on Western education and included maths, science and social studies. Let's continue her educational efforts. By the end of 1851, Savitribai and Jyotirao Phule were running 3 schools in Pune with a combined strength of approximately 150 girls. Well, it was not an easy task for them. Conservatives from their own community and from the upper caste were against them. People often hurled cow dung, mud and stones at them. The indomitable Savitribai would often carry 2 saris with her while going to the schools. Continue her educational efforts. Well, with her close friend and colleague Fatima Begum Sheikh, Savitribai also started teaching women and children from downtrodden castes including Mand and Mahar, who were considered untouchables. She opened 18 schools and a care center for pregnant rape victims to have safe delivery and to save fallen children. Through this home, she advocated widow remarriage and campaigned against child marriage. Now, let's continue to understand her literary contribution. Well, Savitribai Phule was a prolific writer and a poet. She published Kavya Phule in 1854, Bhavan Kashi Subodh Ratnakar in 1892. Her poem entitled Go, Get Education encouraged those who are oppressed to free themselves by obtaining an education. As a result of her work and experience, she became an ardent feminist. Let's understand her social work. Well, Savitribai Phule established the Mahila Seva Mandal to raise awareness for issues concerning women's rights. She conducted meetings for women wherein they sat on a single mat as a symbol of unity and equality. As a result of her work, she is rightfully termed as one of the first generation modern Indian feminists during the British rule. Let's understand her heroic death. Well, during her last days, she worked at her adopted son Ashwant's clinic, where they treated people affected by a bubonic plague pandemic. She died a heroic death as she attempted to save a patient by carrying him on her back to the clinic. Consequently, she contracted the plague and died on 10th March 1897. Let's understand Savitribai Phule's memorial. Well, a memorial was created in her honor by the Pune City Corporation in 1983. On 10th March 1988, a postal stamp in Savitribai's honor was released by the Government of India. On 9th August 2014, the University of Pune was renamed as the Savitribai Phule University. On her 186th birth anniversary, the search engine Google saluted her with a Google Doodle. Now let's conclude the essay of Savitribai Phule, the first woman teacher of India. Well, the teachings and sacrifices of Savitribai Phule will always be remembered by generations. The best way we can honor this extraordinary personality is by making our country free of literacy and by doing to help every poor girl child realize her true potential. Alright, dear students, well, it keeps me end of the lesson. Well, I'll come back with another new interesting video lesson very soon. Until then, keep practicing, keep reading your original textbook, and you must ask the doubts in your classroom. Have a nice time. Bye bye.